thrifting ain't easy, unless you're watching me.
Bring me a tool shed, for I am hungry.
Hey, it's Mr. PCS. Welcome home again. Naturally, to the Thrift Store Rundown, where we bring Hollywood home on a budget. And throughout this week, we're paying a visit to 5 beloved TV homes that you'll want to return to time and time again. However, with this third stop on our tour, you might want to proceed with caution. That's because we're taking you to 4616 Melrose Place, West Hollywood, California. If we were to visit that place today, one can only imagine the sheriff's detail around the perimeter of the building, given all the backstabbing, head-turning, oh yeah, and bed-hopping that these kids are infamous for. The creator and executive producer of Beverly Hills 90210, Darren Star, and Aaron Spelling, Mr. Television himself, respectively, certainly hit bait with that show for Fox, so naturally they decided to go for broke with Melrose Place. And boy, did they. If West Beverly High was the teens' playground, Melrose Place was the adults' playpen. And rest assured, these kids certainly played hard. All that culminated in the official Melrose Place companion book by Rolling Stone writer David Wild, also responsible for companion books like Friends and a couple of other TV gems. This HarperCollins publication was picked up for half off $3.99, 50% off, from 2nd Avenue Thrift Superstore up in Union. And judging from everyday comic book reactions to celebrity fans, ranging from Ricky Lake to Luther Vandross and even John Wayne Bobbitt, this companion really is the next best thing to actually living with Amanda, Billy, Allison, Jake, Joe, Jane, Kimberly, Michael, Sydney, Matt, friends, lovers, enemies, one big, happy, some would say, dysfunctional family. But if there was ever a TV family that puts the fun and dysfunctional with a whole lot of sex appeal in the 90s, just narrowing it down as narrow as I can, this family would be it. Be warned, I'm not a placemat, a Melrose Place stan, like some people back in the 90s were. But I do know a few basics when it comes to TV companion books, and so we'll cover the basics for you. A history of the making of Melrose Place, character guides and Q&As for the actors and actresses who played them. We have here several clips from the characters and the actors and actresses rounding out the book. In The Wit and Wisdom of Melrose Place, a tour of the pad. Oh, and a whole lot of sex appeal to go around, as evidenced with this first Q&A with Heather Locklear. Had they not had the good judgment and fortune to cast her as Amanda Woodward, once a three-and-done guest star to a permanent guest star, Melrose Place would have thrived as long as it did. But Darren Star and Aaron Spelling, they're almost always using their heads. They knew that Heather Locklear brought something vastly different and edgy to the show. So she definitely blew the roof off the joint. This is her Q&A, complete with black and white stills, and there's also a full color photo inset here in the middle of the book. Author David Wild holds his very own Mandy Awards, giving out awards named after real-life luminaries in many different disciplines of the arts and politics, whatever, to characters of Melrose Place who definitely performed their duties well to win these awards. Moving on to Laura Layton's Q&A. Sydney Andrews. I don't fancy Amanda Woodward, Heather Locklear. I just don't. But I did admire her in Looney Tunes Back in Action. Remember that movie? I know some folks don't want to. You may remember Laura Layton from another fine show, one nearer and dearer to my heart, Pretty Little Liars. She was one of the wine moms. Ashley Marin. I mean, subsequently, from her being the hottest of the group here, she was the hottest of the wine moms there. Although I could never cheat on Ella Montgomery. Holly Combs, Aria's mom. You know, I find it odd how she finds it odd that there were 6 or 7-year-olds at the time who were watching her on Melrose Place and asking her for autographs. I certainly hope she didn't deny them. Who would deny a kid an autograph? That's just criminal. What would she think if there were mothers who actually placed their toddlers in front of a screen playing Pretty Little Liars? To each their own, right? And going backward here, there's even a wedding cake recipe. A Melrosian wedding cake recipe revealed courtesy of Nancy Silverton, award-winning pastry chef and restaurateur. Devil's food cake with White Mountain frosting. Oh, and there's also a Melrose Place trivia quiz. And for you desperate housewives buffs, we can't leave out Master Claus, can we? Kimberly Saw. That's Dr. Kimberly Saw to you. Well, not to all Melrose Place fans, especially the novices like myself. Yeah, but she's quite smoking too. And I'm no Desperate Housewives buff, but I've done a couple of videos on them, right? So, needless to say, this definitely was breeding ground for some more steamy and gifted talent to emerge in the years to come. And here is that full-color photo inset I told you about. While there is no episode guide season by season, I think this came out when Melrose Place was its first or second season? I don't know. But there's no episode guide. But it more than makes up for that with a lot of tea being spilled, as the kids could say, on everything and anything going on in that particular communal hangout. What would previous generations who resided at Melrose Place say if they were alive today about these kids coming in there and tearing the roof off the place for all of us worth? More importantly, what are the future generations who are residing in there now saying about the history that took place in there? One can only imagine. This is Doug Savant's Q&A, by the way, and he plays Matt Fielding. I'm highlighting his Q&A too because if there's one thing that the show did right behind the scenes, it's make a match between Doug Savant and his now wife, Laura Layton. Pretty neat. I like the full-color inset and the wit and wisdom of Melrose Place chapters here, as well as Lauren Layton's Q&A. I guess it's the PLL Army soldier in me. But, hey, what can you do? This retails in the US for $12.50 and $17.50 in Canada. Adjusted for inflation today, one can only imagine how much this thing would cost, especially given its size. It's paperback, it's fairly small, but it's jam-packed. And you know what? Any placehead, or placemat for that matter, will find a special place for this in their hearts. That is, if they haven't had theirs broken by any one of these cast members if they met them in person. If that was the case, you will be punished. But other than that, 4.5 out of 5 claps. Melrosians, it's good, I guess, to have you home again. And while I'm somewhat of a Melrose Place skeptic, I can safely say that a place by any other name would make MTV's Real World look like Masterpiece Theater. That's the official Melrose Place companion. Here is the 4th stop on our tour as we come home again. Naturally. What kind of magic are these supernatural and super sizzling sisters blowing up this time as the force of good to save the world from evil? Well, we're about to find out for the 6th time.
Famous. Does the light of passion still burn bright? Only love would know. My imagination tells me I'm a pent-up fool in the deep end of the pool.
Thanks for tuning in. Just so you know, there's no limit to bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Please go ahead and check out another awesome review like this one by clicking here, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here. Until next time, I'll catch you, as I always do, on the thrift side.